I want to save my schedule a bit just in case Pokemon Blue or Green or Red or whatever, Fire Green comes out. I could play that on stream. Gold and Silver would also be really nice. I think honestly, I think I would prefer if they released Gold and Silver. I think Gen 2 might be my favorite Pokemon. I don't think I even realized that until I went back recently and started playing them just on my Game Boy. The Japanese copies. I was kind of like, oh yeah, like, a lot of the things that I really liked about Pokemon were kind of like on the second one. And I loved the first one, of course, but like so many things happened in the second generation that I had sort of taken for granted. Allowing to go back to Kanto was just goated. It was so crazy because as a kid I heard that, and all I thought was like, oh, that's just like a rumor. You know, like people saying you can find Mew under the truck or whatever. I just took that as like a not real thing. Like, no, you can't go back to Kanto. Like, it just seemed impossible back in the day, right? It's like, there's not enough space for that in the Game Boy. I mean, come on. Get a grip. Old man with the volume settings moments. Wait, what? Is that me? Am I the old man? S and S didn't have a built-in volume option. You had to talk to a random old man with her. What the fuck? What? Huh? Is that real? I've never heard of that. I did not know that. That is so insane. Hello, the Amazing Hammer. The DS games come out on the Switch, but you need to use a Switch 2 and Switch 1 at the same time. It's the only way to make the games work. It would be really funny if they did that. It's like you had to put them one on top of the other to emulate the DS screens. I would kind of respect it. In a weird way, I feel like. I'd kind of be like, yeah. I kind of vibe with Nintendo being insane sometimes, you know? Is it fair to assume that the Buddha had a lot of adult pleasures at his disposal, or was he like a sheltered homeschool kid? So it's really interesting when you think of like, the story that everyone hears about the Buddha is like he was a prince who lived in a mansion for like a long time. And then he went out of it and he learned about death and disease and pain and aging. But the first story of the Buddha is very different. It's very short. It's the first story of the Buddha, if you read the earliest Buddhist text, has nothing of that. The earliest description of the origin of the Buddha is, once there was a man with long black hair, and against his father's and his mother's wishes, he shaved it off to become a monk. And that's the end. Like, that's the earliest, like, tale of the Buddha. Which is really interesting, you know? Because it's kind of like, a parable that became, like, that happened over time. This whole idea of like a prince and all that. But I kind of feel like that's like more I do actually prefer the original tale if I had to pick. I feel like I always have to clarify this, but I'm not a Buddhist. I just find Buddhism like interesting. Okay, I just have to clarify this at some point, so I'm gonna do it here. I find that interesting as a parable. I do find that almost more relatable. Just a guy deciding like, I want to become a monk, and he becomes a Buddha. But I feel like today that kind of hits harder, the whole idea of being a prince in a mansion, because isn't that like the reality of like every kid growing up in the Western world today? Like you kind of live in your own mansion where you are free from like pain and suffering and aging and all these things. And eventually you kind of have to leave that. And you have to come to terms with like, oh, people around me are dying. People around me are getting sick. People around me are like aging. I'm aging. So I feel like every kid in the Western world is like becoming a Buddha. Maybe that's too much. Or maybe Western kids today, like Zoomers, are becoming Buddhas in a weird way. Where they have lived kind of like half-sheltered lives, but now they have to come to terms with that and be like, oh, like, I don't know how to deal with this. And it's also interesting. I don't want to talk about Buddhism every stream, but it is interesting to me. It's very interesting. Just the whole idea of like, along with that. What's up with fat Buddha statues? We can talk about that. But you talk about Mario every stream, I guess these are my two topics, Mario and Buddha. That's all I talk about. The fat Buddha is a incarnation called the Budai, who is the future Buddha. Maitreya. I feel like I just said a bunch of nonsense words. So the fat Buddha is a Buddha called Maitreya, who is the future Buddha, the Buddha of the future. Because everything is so cyclical, right? That even within the lore of Buddhism, one day Buddhism will cease to exist, and there will be no Buddhism. And what happens then is there will just be like a new wave of Buddhism, but it won't be called Buddhism, and it will be led by a man called Maitreya. And that is the fat Buddha. But yes, the fat Buddha is just another kind of Buddha. And the reason why he's fat is the literal reason for this. Oh my god, Maitreya Matthias coincidence. No, 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 no. He needs to get fat first. Yeah, so easy. Just give me chocolate. The only reason why he is fat is because in the 1000s there was a Buddhist monk who was extremely happy called Budai. And people loved this guy. They could not get enough of him. He was just like a joyful monk who was always laughing and always fat. And when he died, people said like he was an incarnation of Maitreya. And because of that, he looks like that. And I don't know how people came to this conclusion. People just loved this fat Buddhist monk so much that everyone agreed, no, that was him. And they just like deified him because they loved him so much. Imagine being so fat and jolly that you just get worshipped as a kind of Buddha. And canonified as like the next incarnation of the next Buddha. Guys, fat, jolly, could Maitreya be an incarnation of Mario? Holy shit, have I been worshipping Maitreya this whole time? He had ultimate vibes. Yeah, it's really cool. It is cool. Just like there was this really happy guy, though. And he just became that one guy. He became the deification of the next Buddha. The power of parable in Buddhism is so interesting also. Where it's like, is any of Buddhism true? It's kind of like, you know, it doesn't really matter if it's true or not. The power of the story is so powerful that it is what matters. And it goes against all logic. It's really strange to talk about. So there's a text called... Oh my god, I was thinking of playing Super Mario RPG. But then I started playing Sonic instead. Like a damn fool. The Lotus Sutra... I mean, so Buddhism doesn't really have a Bible, right? Buddhism doesn't really have anything compared to, like, a Bible. It has a lot of different texts. And depending on the branch, there's, like, a different text you kind of vibe with. I guess. You can spin attack... There's no way it's that simple, right? Oh my god, it was that simple? What do you mean you can spin attack that thing? Nothing happened. That didn't solve it even. What the hell? Okay, there was one slime. There was one slime, apparently. Cool, thank you Shigeru Miyamoto, gaming genius. There isn't really one single, like, holy text in Buddhism, but there are ones that different branches worship more than others. Can I fight a boss while talking about it? Oh my god, scary face. Didn't I have something else to say about Buddhism? Oh yeah, the Lotus Sutra. It's like the main text in, like, Japan. It's basically the Japanese Buddhist Bible. It's kind of interesting. Because it's so, like, filled with Mario. It's not Mario. You're distracting me by saying Mario. It makes me want to talk about Mario. It's so full of Mario. Special 3DS with Mario Luigi Dream Team. Oh, that sounds really good. Can I find that 3DS right now? I kind of want to look at this. 3DS Dream Team Mario Luigi. It's even better than I thought it would be. Oh my god, huge. 3DS jump scare. A lot of the time when they make, like, Mario and Luigi stuff, it looks kind of like, I don't know, a bit childish. This looks kind of epic because it's gold. Look up Golden Gun Con for PS1. Didn't we look at this before? It's ringing a bell. No, I don't think oh, Golden Gun Con. No, we have not. I was thinking of a big controller. Oh my god, the gold aesthetic. Mario with a golden gun. Luigi flavor would be matcha chocolate. I think not. I do love matcha chocolate, but I think Luigi would be pear, right? I think Yoshi would be lime. Luigi would be pear flavor. Mario might be tough, actually. Pomegranate? Would Mario be pomegranate? Actually, I think Mario would be melon flavored, like watermelon, like a red melon, you know? I think that would kind of suit Mario. It would be spaghetti flavored, potentially. Meatball flavored cherry. Imagine buying Mario drink, it's meatball flavored. I think of cool peripherals, I think of the RE4 chainsaw controller. Hold on. I do need to pick this. I typed R34, I think that's the wrong thing. RE4 chainsaw controller. I don't know about this. What? Is this real? I mean, I'm seeing different variants of it, I think. Is this the one? Huh. This sucks. I mean, it's really cool. But I can't imagine playing a game like this. This would be so painful to hold. Is it attached to the thing? Is it actually attached? I'm seeing like a yellow variant of it also. This sucks. No, it sucks. I don't know. Actually, maybe it would actually feel amazing to play with this. That's the GameCube one. I don't like the orange one, I think. It's amazing there was a blood-splattered GameCube controller, I guess. Bad taste. I just don't want to, I don't know, have a chainsaw to play games with. My hands are getting cramps just looking at it. Yeah, all I can imagine is, like, the cramps. Actually, you know what? The controller setup on the GameCube looks better, doesn't it? It's not about ergonomics, it's about VR. I mean, you have a point there. That's, like, my biggest complaint about, like, modern controllers. They're all, like, too cozy and comfortable. We need a little bit, we need to sacrifice that for like, aesthetic, you know? Bring back the shitty N64 controller. Not in terms of how shitty it was, but in terms of aesthetic, you know? What the hell was I talking about? I was trying to talk about the Buddhist Sutra. The people kept saying Mario so much that I got distracted. Maybe I should take that as a sign. People don't want to hear about the Buddhist Sutra. Matthias, in Swedish, can you say, this summer I'll experience the ultimate Mario video game on Nintendo Switch 2? Denna sommaren, upplev den ultimata Mario-spel-upplevelsen på din Nintendo Switch 2. Damn, I could pull off those ads. I heard so many ads that sounded exactly like that when I was at Toys R Us. So I feel like I can nail that voice. That advertisement voice. How do you pronounce 2 again? 2. 2? Go near the Eagle's Tower. Beware of the bird. Imagine if we had one chatter right now named Bird in the chat, and I could have gone, Bird, Bird, look, everyone is a bird. Missed opportunity. Does anyone know a bird? We can invite them here right now. It's too late, I'm over it. Anyway, Lotus Sutra in Buddhism. It's almost like, this is what I wanted to say about the Lotus Sutra. It's almost like reading a joke. No. I'm dedicated to this bit now. It's not even a bit. It's almost like reading a joke, where the Buddha is going like, I'm about to say the Lotus Sutra to everyone. Alright? And he keeps going on, the Lotus Sutra, I'm gonna reveal the Lotus Sutra to everyone. And then, when you finish reading the Lotus Sutra, and he never actually says the Lotus Sutra in the Lotus Sutra. It's like a fucking joke. like the Buddha pulls on everyone, where it's like, you read a book called the Lotus Sutra. So you just did it, basically. Kinda. Did I? Was that the point? I guess I did, holy shit. People kept distracting me with Mario. And I kept trying to explain the Lotus Sutra, and the whole point of the Lotus Sutra is the fact that the Buddha never says the Lotus Sutra. Oh my god, this is reaching a deep level. The true Buddha, oh my god, I'm so prepared to start a cult right now. I'm so convinced. Those Mario keys, oh, never mind. Maybe a different time. So fascinating, though. Imagine reading the Bible, and Jesus is like, I'm about to speak the word of God, and then he never actually says the word of God. You're just like, what the fuck is this? He never says it. And the whole thing is just a parable about, like, how the teachings go up. It's supposed to be a super deep meaning to it. Okay, it's super deep. It is weird to think going back to your ancestry and being like, my parents have parents, and their parents have parents, and it just goes all the way back, right? And all of that somehow combines into, like, you. If you go back far enough, there's like 1,000 people, and they all combined together to form you. That's like, I don't know, makes me feel uncomfortable. What do you mean there's like 1,000 people's genes in me? That's scary, don't say that. We're all distantly related for one monkey, for sure. Ends with me. That is also true. If you don't have kids, then there's like a whole lineage that goes back to the first, like, amoeba or whatever. It just ends with you being like, I would rather play on my Switch too. I'm not throwing any shade on people who don't want to have kids. I'm undecided. It should be within your rights to end your line. In your line, there are like 1 million monkeys having sex. Maybe it's perfectly within your rights to deny them their will. I always hated when people say, think of all your ancestors that have worked for you to exist now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they care that much, really. I don't know, do I, let's say I have a kid. Do I care? Am I working right now for what my ancestors do 1,000 years from now? I don't know. I don't think it's going to matter that much, to be honest. It might be weird if they look back and they're like, oh, Matthias is talking about this right now in a VOD. That's weird. Kids are kind of annoying, but they do funny stuff sometimes. It is really difficult, isn't it? Being a parent is so much work, but it might be funny enough to be worth it. 1,000 years from now, it might be the case that people have figured everything out. Like, here is why everything is bad, and here's how you solve it. And you're just living through, like, the equivalent of the caveman era to people 1,000 years from now. We're all immortal now. We fly in spaceships. We're playing fantasy RPGs based on, like, stuff that happened in the 2000s. Imagine showing your caveman ancestor a modern character compared to the characters he had back then. That would probably be way more annoying than showing him, like, a pineapple, because he would just be like, no, it makes sense. We didn't have pineapples because they didn't grow in this area. And then showing him a carrot and being like, what the fuck? I could have figured this out? Would he be jealous? I imagine carrots today taste like shit. He'd be jealous, man. We have conflicted feelings. Oh my god, this is embarrassing to say. Earlier today, I had curry for lunch. And then later when I was on a walk, I looked at my hands and I saw that, like, my fingers were, like, yellow. Like, really, just my skin was yellow, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, am I getting jaundice? Like, what is happening to me? And I was on my phone, like, Googling things, like, what could turn your fingers yellow? And then later I realized, oh, I had curry. I had curry for lunch, and the curry got on my fingers somehow, and it just stuck there. So embarrassing. I was, like, having a bit of a panic moment about me turning yellow. Like, what the fuck? What did I do? What is going on? Did I eat too many carrots in my diet? You know how that can turn you, like, yellow? Turning into yellow Mario. I don't think it works like that. He likes curry and big boobs. No, no, no. Oh my god. Aren't you from Super Mario Bros. 2? Aren't you Wart? Ribbit Ribbit, I'm Mamu on vocals. There's no need to tell you that, do I? Everybody knows me. Want to hang out and listen to us jam? Alright. Yeah. King K. It does kind of look like King K. Rool, doesn't it? It's kind of hitting. Alright, applause. Clap, clap. Thank you.